Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Diane Hayden, publisher of Natural Nutmeg magazine, and I'm here for our Lunch and Learn live video series with our expert writers and contributors for Natural Nutmeg on how to cope with the COVID-19 situation, and also just uplifting interviews about topics related to natural therapies and how to live a more holistic lifestyle with tips you can easily integrate into your daily life. I'm excited to have with me today Rebekah Fernandez of Your CBD Store in Manchester. With nearly 700 locations nationwide, Your CBD Stores is a plant science company and is committed to empowering others through education and transparency. Their award-winning hemp supplements are rich in cannabinoids and terpene blends. As the largest brick-and-mortar CBD retailer in the world, their SunMed CBD is well-respected and of the highest quality. During these times, Your CBD Store in Manchester, Connecticut is offering phone orders and free shipping or no contact delivery to homes, live video consultations, and support calls. So thank you so much for being with me today. Rebekah, how are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well. Situation's different for everybody. I think we're all kind of getting stir crazy, but it's a beautiful day outside.
Yes, compared to yesterday. I was definitely feeling the stir craziness yesterday. We had high winds and rain. We actually lost power for a few hours, so it was kind of funny. We were all saying like, if it's not that enough that we're quarantined to the house, now we have no power. Like we can't even. I'm like, okay, the universe is definitely sending a message that we're still not pausing and being quiet enough. They're going to get rid of TV and internet and everything, and we're going to have to sit here and talk to each other. But it was good. It was good. So.
Good. So we pull out all the board games, right?
Exactly. By candlelight.
Yeah. Yep. Kind of reminds me of growing up.
Yeah. So I'm excited about this topic today because I think that there are a lot of people that are interested in CBD. I think there are a lot of people that are afraid of it. And there's a lot of great information and, of course, misinformation out there. And so I'm happy that you are with us today to talk about it. But I wanted to start by getting a little bit of background about specifically your CBD stores, and also just tell us a little bit about how you got involved and your passion about the company and the product and all that.
Yeah. So I actually have a lot of different things going on that I wasn't able to manage very well for some time. And it got to a point where I wasn't actually able to swallow food. I had really, really bad stress management control. It was just kind of doing whatever it wanted, and it took me for quite the ride. So, after seeing lots of different specialists, and hitting dead ends, I decided to kind of look through more of like a holistic alternative avenue, because, the first thing my doctor said after all of the specialists had said, no, it's not this, or the other thing is, oh, you have anxiety. And I was like, okay, well, there's not much other than taking a pill for that. And I've been there, done that, didn't want to do it. So, with the fact that I couldn't swallow food and function on a daily basis at that point, I decided to try different things. So I started researching medical marijuana. Then I started researching CBD because it kind of came up along with my search. I didn't want to get high, and I had never had good experience with marijuana. I had tried the medical marijuana through, my daughter had some, and she's 21, and she said it worked for her, but it didn't work for me. It made me feel really paranoid, to be honest. It has its place, but not for me. So either way, I started to try different types of CBD. I noticed it helped a little bit, but there were so many differences between them, and I didn't want to really experiment with something I wasn't 100%, educated on. So the process of educating myself was quite a chore. And over the course of the summer, I actually ended up talking to my supervisor at work, and he mentioned that someone was looking to have a store manager come on board and become an educator for this company. And I said, well, okay, I hadn't heard much about SunMed or Your CBD Stores, but as soon as I looked it up, it kind of, his reputation spoke for itself immediately. So I'm glad that I I'm able to have this position with the company because I'm able to kind of share what I've experienced through a reputable brand with other people every day. And, the hope of improving quality of life for others is what we all do at our almost 700 locations nationwide. And, we're the largest brick and mortar retailer in the world, but we're a plant science company. So when I learned all about what our company really does and how everything was started, I was blown away. And I feel very privileged to be able to hold the position that I have here as an endocannabinoid educational specialist.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
It is. And I get to say it every day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I mean, your story is amazing. I can't even imagine what it would be like to not be able to swallow. I mean, that's just
it was
crazy.
scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, most traditional medical places are gonna try to put you on some sort of a drug or
Yep.
chemical thing to to try and figure that out, or God forbid, like surgery or something like that. So it's
Yeah.
great that you found this and it's helped you, and I'm sure it's helping many people with lots of different things. So I wanted to just make people aware there's a lot of regulations going on right now. I think it's great that there's a company like your CBD store that's really out there trying to keep the industry safe and educate people as much as possible, and get a lot of good information out there. I know that people look into CBD for a number of different things. I would say probably most frequently it's people looking for solutions for pain or anxiety, stress, that kind of thing. And I know there are certain things now that you can and can't say as far as what the product does. So I'm going to actually just let you talk a little bit about, like, how would you educate me if I came into the store and I said to you, like, I'm either looking for something because I have this chronic pain, I don't want to take drugs, or I've taken drugs and it hasn't helped me, or I'm dealing with stress or anxiety, how would you speak to me as if I was a customer?
Yeah. So so the educational piece comes into play where it's really talking about what differences there are between good and bad, hemp oil extracts, because not all are the same. So, every customer that comes in, obviously is welcomed, usually with a sample, which we can't do right now. But we try the sample, we talk about it, I explain, what to look for on a label so that you can shop smart and know that you're getting something that is, pure and good quality. And then, I talk about what you came in for, like, what brought you into this search for CBD, like, what interests you about it? What do you hope to accomplish? And then people will start telling me all kinds of things. So like you were saying, like, if you're experiencing discomfort in any way, if you're having trouble sleeping, if you have, difficulties managing your stress levels and your mood, those are all things that help us as educational specialists be able to recommend different types of items. So rather than saying, oh, I've got something for sleep, we would point you in the direction of something that has, more increased compounds of CBN, which is what we already produce on our own, in fact, but we don't produce enough if we have trouble sleeping at night or trouble with mood regulation and stress management. So those are things that help us kind of understand what you need and what would be best suited for your situation.
Right, exactly. Something that you just said that I definitely want to point out to people is we have this whole system in our body.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, I think that, most people aren't even aware of that. So they don't even really know, like, how the products work. So maybe if we just back up a little bit and talk about the endocannabinoid system and how it functions in the body. I mean, without getting too heavily scientific, but I think
you're taking all the fun out of it, Diane.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Hey, you can go down. You can go as far as you want. So Yeah, like let's just talk a little bit about, how it functions in the body and then how these products basically work to enhance that essentially. Because sometimes I think what's happening is certain people's, whether it's genetic or what, or because of toxins or chemicals they've been exposed to or whatever, the system is not functioning correctly or as effectively in the body. And that's why we're
Yeah.
seeing these issues that people are having.
Yeah, so there's a few theories. You bring up a good point there. First and foremost, CBD was actually discovered in 1940. So it's been, it's been recognized for some time now, just not in its full entirety like it is nowadays.
Hmm.
In fact, it was discovered before marijuana, but of course that kind of took over. um, but the endocannabinoid system in our bodies, it's basically a series of networks that receives and distributes CBD and all of its compounds. CBD is actually made up of several different compounds that have, 3-letter acronyms, because they're also very long to say. But basically, when you have this system inside of you that knows what to do with these compounds, there's a synergy. And since CBD isn't, it's not a euphoric type of substance, it doesn't create high or anything like that, doesn't change your ability to do anything. It just works naturally with our system. So everybody's a little different, and everybody's compounds that we produce that are also found in CBD, some of them, some of us have higher levels than others, some of us have lower levels, where the majority of us are very deficient in CBN, to be honest. But there's a few theories as to why. I mean, when these plants have all been regulated for the last almost 100 years now, but at one point in time it grew all around us. So one of the theories is that we used to have access to it. It was part of our environment, and now it was in our soil, it was in our water runoff, the animals ate it, we ate the animals, and so on and so forth. But now, with that theory, is that we don't have access to it, and so our bodies have declined in this production of these compounds at the levels that they should be at. So when you supplement with a good quality CBD extract, it makes a big difference, because you're able to kind of adjust those levels. And finding your serving is important, because if you're taking less than you should, you might not see any results. And if you take more than you should, you cannot overdose with it. But your body can only use so much at once. It can only absorb so much at once. So you don't want to waste it either, But the endocannabinoid system receptor sites for CBD, well, actually for CBN, I should say, those are mainly focused in the gut. So it's immune support focused, it's gut focused, but it distributes throughout the whole body from that main source. And then when you're talking about other compounds like THC, for example, that's found in marijuana. But the U.S. industrial hemp plant, which is what we legally extract from here, grown here in the U.S., that naturally contains 0.3% THC. So not enough to get anyone high, and it's so far below the legal limit that there's no concern there. However, it works as a booster, because the receptor sites in your system for THC are located mainly in the spinal column and the neurological realm. So lots of different things going on. Again, situational, very situational, depends on what you're looking for. But the endocannabinoid system is pretty impressive.
Yeah. So really interesting what you said. It makes perfect sense. And I did not know this actually, that, we were probably eating it, getting it, like you said, through, from animals, or even people were cooking with it, or who knows, many, many years ago. And so naturally it was in our bodies. It reminds me of like, when the soil wasn't depleted, when farming, and growing fruits and vegetables, and even the way we raised animals and that kind of thing many years ago, everything was more fertile, more nutrient rich. We were able to
Yep.
get nutrition and vitamins and minerals, the critical ones, from the fruits and vegetables we ate, and from the, meats that we ate, if we ate meat or fish or whatever it might be. And now it's very different in terms of just, how our food is grown and how it gets to us and when it gets to us. And
Yep.
if you buy organic or you don't buy organic, all that kind of stuff, it's really the same thing. Essentially, it's just that, we don't eat that way anymore. And so now our bodies are depleted of something that used to be, a natural substance that was in our body, and maybe helping us to stave off issues like, pain, discomfort, or mood or stress or that kind of thing.
Correct. Yep. And just like, different things can go wrong in our bodies if we're deficient in certain nutrients. Yep, same idea. So, being deficient in certain levels of compounds, requires supplementation. And so that's pretty much what these extracts are able to do for a lot of people. And the extracts themselves are like our brand is SunMed. It's our own brand because we don't source anything out. We maintain quality and consistency that way. And what that means is, we own our own fields, and they're in Oregon and Colorado. And our plants are very CBD rich, which isn't something that's typically across the board, which makes them a little different. Where you grow is definitely a big factor. But, personally, I have found that the results I get are only using half the amount I was with anything else I'd ever tried. So, I know I'm supplementing my compound levels in a way that need to be maintained, because now I can actually go about my daily life and not be held back.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So as far as anything else that someone should know when they, come into your store and talk to you about, how to choose between different products. I mean, and maybe it's too much for us to get into in the short conversation we have today, but I'm just wondering if there's, anything else that, any direction that you would choose to send a person in based on, what they're telling you that they're dealing with. Like, I know you guys have a lot of different products. So how do you pick and choose like what you would recommend for someone?
Yeah, so we have a lot of different items to choose from. Surprisingly, we actually have a lot less than some do. We don't have people oftentimes will walk into the store and they'll be like, "Where is everything?" Because they expect to see racks and shelves and shelves. But when you find one thing that does it right, why complicate it?
Yep.
So we have the different things we have to choose from are, hemp oil supplements, which used to be called tinctures, but we relabeled them. FDA just said, there's alcohol in tinctures and we don't put alcohol in our tinctures. So we said, okay, no problem. Now they're called hemp oil supplements by permission, which is exciting. And we have, so the oils are sublinguals. They go under your tongue. That's where they're absorbed. And then we have water solubles, which is an emulsified blend. So we took our hemp oil extract, emulsified it with a solution that allows it to be broken down into smaller particles and therefore bloodstream travel, which is faster acting. So instead of waiting half hour, 40 minutes for a sublingual oil to kick in, you could take a water soluble if you needed something faster acting. And that would usually kick in 5 to 10 minutes or so. The oils and the water solubles and some of the edibles, they come in different spectrum. I'll get into that a little later. But we also have pet products. We have oils for pets, and we also have edibles for pets. We have edibles for us. We have gummies, hard candies, honey sticks, usually, that sort of thing. And then we also have topicals, which are creams that people can rub on a targeted area and, experience whatever extent they can with that. And then we also have bath and beauty products, which are pretty interesting. Our facial creams are really moisturizing, and they stay that way for a long time. They actually promote abnormal skin cell death, which is important because you don't want abnormal skin cells to thrive. You want them to pass on so that your living healthy cells can thrive. And then, we have the Synergy bath bombs, which people love because, they can soak in the tub and feel a whole lot better when they're finished. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the simplicity of the selection. Sometimes it's what people find more palatable that drives that decision. Sometimes it's the timeline in which they want delivery, in terms of how long they want to wait for it to kick in. Um, if somebody has like a sharp shooting pain situation and they're describing it to me, that to me would be something I would want something faster acting for. So that's what I would recommend. And you can combine things. So, everybody has their own blend, if you will. Some people are doing water solubles and they also use the topical cream. Some people do the same thing using sublingual oil in the topical cream. Some people switch things. Some people use a water soluble during the day. They want to use an oil at night, just because the oil lasts about 8 or 9 hours. So sometimes they're looking for more longevity. So sometimes it's preference based, sometimes it's situational, and sometimes it's a mix of the two.
Right. Yeah. I like that. I mean, it gives people lots of options.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very personalized, I feel like, too,
Yeah, it's definitely tailored for your situation, that's for sure.
Right. And also I wanted to mention, as you were talking, I was just thinking about the types of people. It's not just for people who necessarily have some sort of a chronic issue. I was thinking, like, what about an athlete who wanted to use a topical for, just normal, not even really pain, but just maybe like muscle discomfort or whatever from, lifting or exercising or whatever their routine is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so those are actually, we do have people who come into the store, and they want to have more effective workouts, and they want to be able to like increase their stamina and their drive. And there are some things that help with those situations. Some of them just don't want their soreness after a workout to hold them back. They want to be able to maintain their workout time without having to slow down and take a break. So, that's where a topical would come in handy, and our gym goers love them. And they also like our roll-on because they can just throw it in their gym bag, and then they have their cream for home and their roll-on for when they're on the go. And a lot of the edibles can be used in replacement of like Motrin or Tylenol for more holistic alternative there. So a lot of times, people will say, I get migraine headaches and I don't want to deal with them. And I want to be able to go about my daily routine without an interruption. And that's something that, we can help you find something for too.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's a great alternative for people who need to take Advil or ibuprofen, which is so harsh on your stomach, and
It really is.
That kind of thing. It's anything that can be used that's more natural. Obviously, like this would be great for people like that.
Yeah. Yep. I know me, the topical is like attacked at our house. I have my 2 daughters live here full time, and my oldest is on her own now, but she stops in to borrow things every once in a while, and I have to keep an eye on it to make sure she's not trying to take it, because, I mean, if you rub it on your temples and the back of your ears and the back of your neck, all of that just kind of dissipates. It's nice.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So you mentioned something that I wasn't aware of either. You said you were talking about the product for facial lotion that helps with abnormal skin cell death. Is that just for the face, or could you use that on any part of your body?
Oh, that's a great question. You bring up a good point, actually. So we do have a separate body line for daily maintenance. That's anywhere on your body that you want to apply it. And then we have the face creams, which work for your face. And so the difference is when you're using, your skin in different areas of your body has different levels of sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
You might have dry spots in the thinner skin areas, which are on your face, for example, but you might not have dry spots any other areas that are larger. So usually when people experience severe dryness, it's usually starts on the elbows, the knuckles, the tips of your toes, your heels, your face area, sometimes up here, like in the eye bands, that sort of thing. Some people have other situations, like they have psoriasis or eczema, and sometimes acne breakouts, and they want to try to do something to maintenance that. So that's what they're used for in those situations. And we also have a collagen cream, which is marine-based collagen, which I think goes on a lot more smooth, stays on longer, and makes things feel just a lot softer and elasticated. Personally, that's what I've experienced. And it's kind of like, not to sound silly, but it's like a rejuvenating feeling. Like I've never used a face cream that made my face feel like brighter, you know? So until this one. So we do have the body lotion, which is separate from the facial lotion, facial creams. There's a daytime and a nighttime facial cream because your face needs different levels of moisture daytime and nighttime. And then, you know, the collagen cream is also an option, and the body lotion is full body. It has a great cucumber mint smell. It's very pleasant. But all of our body care products actually have very nourishing extracts from plants and fruits and vegetables, especially. And the oils are blended with the hemp oil extract. So there is a little bit of CBD content in there, which is nice because it seems to have a more lasting moisturizing effect on the skin. I know this year I wasn't getting all the patches that I normally get. So it's nice to have more clarity and feel more comfort, because it gets itchy and it burns after a while, especially with all the hand washing that we're doing now with the COVID.
Right.
It's important to wash our hands. It's also important for us to love our hands, because after we wash them, all of that goes away. So you have to put something on to kind of recover from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And also great point for those who live in the Northeast, because our
Mhm.
skin definitely tends to, you know, be very different from someone who lives in, you know, the Southeast or the West or whatever, as far as what we deal with, whether it's, you know, cold or lower humidity or that kinds of things. All of that has drying effects. So,
Yep.
and I just think most people don't even have any idea how many toxins are in the personal care products that they use. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. And when you think about it, especially as a woman, like how much stuff we put on our bodies, from, you know, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, lotion, face lotion, 5 different kinds of anti-aging face lotion,
Yeah.
makeup. I mean, it's just, by the time you're done, you've probably put like 30 different things on your body. And
Yeah, that's
and
true.
there's a great website that I found that I've used for many years called Environmental Working Group. I think it's ewg.org, but the name of the company is Environmental Working Group. And if you ever have any questions, this is an aside, about the personal care products you're using, you can go on that website and just actually type in the name of the product, and it'll tell you, it rates it like on, you know, just from their research on the level of toxicity, or if there's any cancer causing chemicals that they found to be in it, that kind of thing. So you can get great information by either just typing in the name of your product, or even specific ingredients. If you're looking at something and you see this ingredient, most of the time you can't even pronounce it.
Yeah. That's
But if
kind of the
you're,
rule.
yeah, if you're curious about it, you can get really good information, you know, for that. So it's good to hear that you guys also have CBD products for, you know, topical use for, you know, personal care too.
Yeah, I mean, some of the essential ingredients, aside from, you know, the hemp oil extract, the CBD part, are things like arnica, MSM. Those are natural plant extracts as well, which have made a really big difference in situations like joint pain and swelling and bruising and things like that. And then, you know, inflammation is always a factor for, I mean, 95% of anything that goes wrong with us, really. So, you know, having these natural ingredients incorporated that, you know, really blend really well together with CBD is pretty amazing. We live in such a great day and age where we're able to extract these things with preciseness and provide them to the public, you know, in an effort to make a difference. So,
Yeah, that's great. That is great. So anything else that I'm forgetting? Anything that you wanted to talk about or mention as far as, just the product or related to, different ways to use it or how to treat it, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so on our Facebook site, I'm always posting different things. Our Facebook is, your CBD Store Manchester, CT, all one word. And I posted up some slides the other day about a new product that we have, which is called Raw. It's it's basically the dried flower of this plant, and it has increased amounts of CBG. So for time's sake, I would encourage any of the listeners out there today to Google the benefits of CBG, which is C as in cat, B as in boy, and G as in gold. And just kind of do a little bit of research there, because it has been provided in the dry form. It's flexible, so it can be used in smoothies, teas. You can smoke it if you want. Won't get anybody high, of course, but a lot of people are finding all kinds of energistic benefits with it. And other things too. So anything that any regular CBD product would help accomplish would also be accomplished by the CBG, but in a more direct way, because CBG is the parent of CBD, so it's a precursor. It's an intense positive compound. But yeah, so I mean that's a new product. It's very versatile. People are even making guacamole with it.
Oh my
Small
God, that's
amounts of
wild.
it.
Yeah.
You got to come up with some fun ways to take things, right?
Would you use it in conjunction with CBD or in place of, or how does that
it,
work?
so the CBD, remember how I was saying earlier how CBD is made up of several different compounds.
Mm-hmm.
So the different compounds that make up CBD are CBG, CBN, CBC, CBA, and CBDV. With all of that being said, we took CBG and we focused on it. So we pulled larger amounts of that and included it in the dried form of the plant. So basically, that again, like that immune gut focused delivery system, but like a more stronger delivery, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it does still have all the other compounds included. They're just at lower levels because we're focusing on the CBG for that particular one in raw form. But it's raw dried hemp with that increased CBG content, and people love it. People are excited. They take about a penny-sized pinch of it and they sprinkle it in, like I said, like smoothies, teas. They can smoke it if they want. They can blend it in foods. So that's something new, innovative that we have. And then we're also we're accepting phone orders like most people are at this point. We're doing deliveries right to people's home, which is nice. It's been really nice to be able to connect from afar,
Yeah.
but be able to just still know that we're there for all of our wonderful customers, and everyone's been really grateful. They've all been really flexible and extremely happy to be able to still have access to the things they need. And the one thing I didn't really go over was, when we talk about hemp extracts, there's lots of different ways to extract. We were told moving forward, the supercritical CO2 extraction method is going to likely be the one approved by FDA at some point when they step in and fully regulate. But that's what we've always used. It's a cleaner method. Doesn't involve any harsh chemicals or alcohol or anything like that. So everything that's extracted is everything that goes into the end product, which means you get all that you should get. That's not compromised. So for safety tips, lastly, any type of CBD product that you purchase, whether it's SunMed brand or other, you want to make sure that there's a lab report attached to it, either through a QR code that you can scan or a batch or lot number on the label. It's important because you want to know where your product came from, when it was harvested, and you want to make sure that it was grown here in the U.S. and that it is certified U.S. industrialized hemp. We actually took things to an extra measure and got organic certified, which was pretty grueling, but we're very proud to say that we are organic certified. And so With lab reports, that means that it's third-party tested. That's important. You want to make sure it's been tested through a third party that's reputable, and we use 2 of the top reputable sites in the US right now. Actually, one of them recently just won an award for that very reason. And yeah, so I mean, lots of different things available.
Yeah, I'm glad we just went over that, and I want to go over it again for people, because I feel one of the things I did want to say is that earlier you mentioned that, you know, like there are so many places selling it. I mean, literally I've seen like side of the road gas stations, crazy like things that I'm pretty savvy because I've been involved in the nutritional supplement and the holistic field for years and years. So I know like where I can pretty much just by looking at a place decide, yeah, I don't think I would buy the product there. But most people don't know. Like they don't know that that's not a reputable place, and they don't know the questions to ask. So just to review what you just said again, if no matter where you go, I mean, obviously I would recommend that people go see you, or if there is another your CBD store in their local area, go to a place like that has been around for years and, you know, is reputable and obviously is doing all of this, you know, great research and investing the money to be organic certified and all of that. But let's say they don't live near a your CBD store, or they don't have access to it, that kind of thing. So you want to make sure when you go into a place that you ask for a lab report, which will tell us that there's third-party testing, that where the CBD is grown, when and how it's harvested, meaning how do you extract the compounds from the plant.
Well, it's the date on when that lot was harvested.
Okay.
So basically, you want to be able to trace anything you purchase like this down to the seed. And basically that's our motto, is you can, from soil to oil, you can trace it. It's our fully transparent motto. That's what we offer everybody. And it, you know, so when you go on our website, you can actually type in the batch number on your product and in the lab reports search bar, and it'll bring you right to it, and you can print them out, bring them to your physician, have them look things over. Sometimes they want to know all the different percentages and compounds that are in there, and what was involved in the extraction or blending process, because we use terpenes as well, which those are oils that are extracted from plants. Similar to essential oils, obviously the ingestible version, right. But they all have a purpose too. They're the little flavoring guys that add spice to life, and they also help with delivery and distribution to specific areas in the body. So, but yeah, it's important to make sure you know where your plants were, when they were harvested, so that you can trace them back to that very lot that they came from.
Right, and I would imagine that makes a difference as far as the potency.
Well, so all of our plants are, like I said before, they're very rich in CBD content, and it's not necessarily the potency. It's more of like a safety thing. For example, if you had, you know, sometimes we hear about spinach recalls in the grocery stores and things like that. So, you know, it's not the same situation. Our lots are very controlled. Like there's no crossing over of anything. Like it's like Fort Knox. But when you want to know, like, so in terms of potency, there's very, very minor differences, almost unnoticeable. But yes, we have had certain webinars where they have told us that, you know, one batch may differ slightly from another, but we haven't ever had it to a point where people aren't getting results from one batch versus another batch. Usually it's like small, subtle things most people don't even really notice, which isn't anything bad. It's just, you can't always guarantee every single
Sure.
compound.
Yeah, no, exactly. Right. I guess what I was trying to get at was like, understanding the date when it was harvested. Does that mean that like you want it to have been harvested within a certain amount of time? Meaning, is there something that happens, like, let's say, you know, you went into some place and they either didn't know when it was harvested or it was harvested 10 years ago. That's what I'm asking you. Like, what's the importance of the date?
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, so basically you want to make sure that every single batch is tested. You want to make sure that every single batch has a number attached to it. And you want to make sure that it hasn't been sitting for like 2, 5, 10 years, because usually about 2 years or so is the shelf life.
Right.
Some items are 1 year. So if it's been sitting for a long time, yes, it does lose its potency. So you want to make sure that it's, and the dates are all on there. So, you want to make sure it was something that was reported recently. And that's, something that is important. I mean, we have different batches every couple months, if I remember correctly. So you should be able to track everything in as close as possible.
Great. Awesome. Well, this has been super informative. Thank you for being on with us.
You're
And
so welcome.
yeah, if you just want to tell people again how they can reach out to you, whether it's, your website again, or Facebook, or any kind of information for people to connect with you.
Yeah. So our Facebook is the most informative social media site that we have. So I would definitely like us and follow us on Facebook at your CBD Store Manchester CT. And our phone number is 860-791-8368. I'm answering phones usually between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m., except on Sundays from 11 to 5. And then we're hoping to have our doors open again soon for curbside pickup. But for now, you can always place your order over the phone with us, and then we'll deliver directly to your home. When we are open and things are in full swing again, I think we're still going to continue doing the phone orders, because sometimes people have a hard time leaving the house.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's awesome. So we've recorded this. It'll be up on our website at naturalnutmeg.com, and also on our social media Facebook pages at Natural Nutmeg Magazine. And I want to thank you again, Rebekah, for being on with us and giving us all this great information about CBD. And hopefully people will be connecting with you too.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was my pleasure.
Great, great. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.
Bye.